Out of Time and Rapture. This type of spiritual experience is rarely described and rarely mentioned. Occasionally it creeps into near-death experiences. And yet it is a profound mystic experience of great import. We only have one video in the playlist that describes the effect. However, it is an exceptionally well-explained presentation by Jill Balti-Taylor, made during a TED event in 2008. And it has garnered well over 7 million views and 5,000 plus comments. An indicator of both the quality of the explanation and the profound importance of its content. First, an explanation of what is actually happening. Shunyamurti teaching. The joy of liberation is coming soon. Recognize that all of us are one. Self-manifesting as many. As have all the great sages of every tradition. And that has been put either in terms of duality, that we are all children of one God, or that we are all emanations of one supreme reality. And when we fall from that recognition, then our lives degrade, our society degrades, our world degrades. And the only way to repair the world, to achieve what in the Jewish tradition is called tikkun, is the return to the recognition of our union with God. This is not the union spoken of in the Hieros Gamos or mystic marriage, the union of the masculine and feminine. It is a return to the centre, a return to our Maker. Out of Time, a definition. The realm of reality, the realm of God or the void, is without time. Time occurs only for the emanations, the children. And the experience of the passage of time is only experienced by those who identify with the ego. Let go of the ego and consciousness enters the realm of no time. The body to which consciousness once belonged remains and degenerates as normal, but the spirit that leaves the body in this way becomes an immortal soul in an infinite realm with no beginning or end. Shunyamurti. If you are not the ego, then what are you? You're the vastness, the vastness that is filled with love. And there is love because you realize your oneness with all that is. And that state of love is not one that you must make effort toward. It's there. It's the natural state of the oceanic consciousness that permeates this entire universe. And we are that. And so just by refusing to touch the ego and its pathological desires and demands and fears, we are saved, we are liberated, we are released from the dukkha, the suffering. Jill Bolte Taylor had a massive stroke, so she was not meditating or attempting to reach this state, but the effect of the stroke was to create what she, as a brain scientist, called a research opportunity. And luckily she maintained consciousness and reason long enough to enable her to watch as the functions of her mind, motion, speech, self-awareness, shut down, one by one. A mystic's experience. The very fact it took a massive stroke to enable a scientist to achieve this state is an indicator of just how difficult this state is to reach. And one can only use contemplation and detachment. The varieties of meditation, trademarked and taught by some schools, are often satisfactory up to a certain level, but wholly inadequate at this level. In Christian mysticism, the state was called Rapture. Saint Teresa of Avila suffered from raptures and said, "Very often they, the raptures, seemed to leave my body as light as if it had lost all its weight, and sometimes so light that I hardly knew whether my feet were touching the ground. But during the rapture itself, the body is very often like a corpse, unable to do anything of itself. It remains all the time in whatever attitude it was in when the rapture came on it, seated for example, and with the hands open or closed. The subject rarely loses consciousness. I have occasionally lost it entirely, but not very often, and only for a short time. Generally the senses are disturbed, and though absolutely powerless to perform any outward action, the subject still sees and hears things, though only dimly, as if from far away. I do not say that he can see and hear when the rapture is at its height, and by at its height I mean those times when the faculties are lost, because closely united with God. Then, in my opinion, it neither sees, nor hears, nor feels. But this complete transformation of the soul is of short duration. While it lasts, however, none of the senses perceives or knows what is taking place. We can have no way of understanding this. This I have learnt for myself. Another symptom of the state of rapture is that the body becomes exceptionally cold. Cold inside and outside, almost as if without the will to guide it, it starts to die. And if this experience is thrust unexpectedly on a novice, they run the risk of actually dying. If deliberately invoked, it is not without danger. But once experienced, no person ever doubts the existence of the power that controls, creates, and will destroy the universe. By definition, it is impossible to experience this and still be an atheist or agnostic, or anything other than an absolute believer in God, the mystic void. Chester Carlson. Chester Carlson was the inventor of the Xerox copier. He became progressively more and more spiritual during his life, and his letters and attitude all point to the fact he had experienced this state but told no one. In a 1959 letter to his old roommate Larry Dumond, who was enduring a variety of vexing personal problems, he wrote, "Erase from your mind the slightest feeling of anxiety in any situation which is beyond your control. If possible, while riding in a bus, close your eyes for a few minutes and strive for absolute calmness. Then think, 'Thy will be done,' and mean it completely and absolutely. Accept the premise that God is running things and that He knows much better what is right than we do. I have known of cases where, seemingly, miracles have taken place when a person surrenders himself completely. But that is of less importance than its internal effect on you. You will have a new sense of security and independence which nothing can break. Eventually, your inner calmness and power will radiate to others, and they will reflect it back."